we didn't have the opportunity to speak to you, but we lost Hulk Hogan. I know it's been a bit.
Yeah.
I wanted to get your feedback on Hulk Hogan and the loss of him, and your thoughts on maybe how the public treated him late in his life, or even the wrestling fans.
There was no reason for Hulk to be treated, you know, in kind of a way that he was. And, you know, everybody loves him, what he did for pro wrestling. Okay. You know, it's like I said, after Hulk Hogan, wrestling died to me. Okay. The two biggest legends, as far as I'm concerned, you can call him a legend, are Bruno and the Hulk. But yeah, the way they treated him down the line, look, everybody's got a little bit of dirt under their fingernails. And in today's world, it's publicized, it's looked at, scrutinized, and it's not right. I mean, the guy, what did the guy do? Did he ever kill anybody? Did he ever kill anybody? He just tried to provide for his family. He did what he did. He did what we all would wanted to have done a TV show, done movies, be the world champion for X amount of years and everything. He lived his life to the fullest, but within reason. So yeah, I mean, let's look at uh, the news people and what they try to turn it. Look, it sells. What can I do? You know, whether it's true or not, it sells.
How much of it do you think was political? We all know where he stood.
How much was political? That's hard to say, Jimmy. So how much do you think it was?
Well, you know, I tried to not think of it that way, but Mike pointed out that when he was so mercilessly booed the very last time he made an appearance, it was in, of course, the heart of liberal land in Cali. And, you know, Mike believes it had a lot to do with it. I believe it had some to do with it. I also believe that the younger generations don't understand anything about forgiveness. And I think that that's connected to their internet souls. Because
Yeah.
when we were children, we actually had to speak to each other in person. We appreciated when we saw each other. We didn't take for granted that we might not be able to talk to each other anytime soon because we didn't have a handheld device that could just mechanize our relationship.
Yeah.
So basically, if you understand what I'm getting at, I don't think that the younger generations can feel anything for anybody and have very little forgiveness in their hearts whatsoever. This was a wrestler. Like you
Yeah.
said, this man
Yeah.
didn't kill anybody. This
Right.
man was caught recorded saying something wrong.
Yeah.
And we all know that if
Yeah.
someone did that to every single one of us, none of us are leaving the house ever
Right.
again because
Right.
no one's perfect.
Yeah. Liberal Hollywood. When somebody does something wrong there, you don't hear it. You don't hear
Right.
too much about it, right? Liberal
No,
Hollywood. Matter of fact, you even got the California liberal donors already donating to Gavin Newsom, okay?
Right.
Because he supposedly is going to run in 2028. Let him run. There's no way that guy can get elected. He's a fraud. Just like how we found out the governor of Minnesota now is a big fraud. He's going to be looked at for $1 billion of money that he sent to terrorist organization. I never heard of such a thing in my life. Why isn't he in handcuffs right now?
What were your thoughts on some of the? I almost completely removed myself from the internet after Charlie Kirk's assassination, murder. What were your thoughts on some of the horrendous, soulless things being said by people? The man is not even cold yet, and some of the things that were being said made me want to never look at the phone ever again. The internet.
This is a hateful country right now, but it's like I said earlier, is that it's a small percentage. It may look bigger than life, but it's a small percentage because we know everybody voted President Trump. He had the majority vote. He had every swing state. So it was a landslide, however you want to look at it. Okay. But these people, you're right. You see some of these ugly things like some big fat school teacher walking around in front of the camera going like this into his neck. Are you proud of yourself? Do you go home at night and talk to your children about what you did today in front of the cameras? I mean, there are some real sick individuals out there. It just disgusts me.
How are we supposed to reason with people who will put Donald Trump and Adolf Hitler in the same sentence? I ask you that. I'll ask anybody this. Would Adolf Hitler sit down and wager peace between the Palestinians and the Israelis? I'm not really sure how these two things go in the same sentence. And even after the fact that they have agreed to peace, to some level, is a miracle on any presidential watch. By the way, folks, in case you're not paying attention, it takes a lot of balls to do what just happened here.
Yeah.
And instead, we're still being compared to Hitler. Any thoughts on that comparative?
That's well, yeah. We're being compared to probably one of the worst in history, right? But like I say, you're gonna have this until Trump is out of office. You're going to be hearing this. It doesn't matter what Trump does. He could cure cancer. Okay, he could do the most wonderful things that mankind, that maybe God couldn't even do. And believe me, I think President Trump is here because of God, so he can change this country around and maybe put it on the right track finally. That's what I sincerely believe.
You don't believe the narrative would continue if, let's say, J.D. Vance was the next president? I believe the narrative will continue.
I agree.
Well, before you give us our flowers, Ron, because we all know that we're the greatest podcast show in the world. I don't know what a podcast show is, Ron, but anyway, I wanted to get an opportunity. We all know Bob Backlund, which we had the greatest interview with him. You don't hear much of him anymore. Everybody knows he's suffering from Alzheimer's, and we know how that disease can cripple people. And you were around during Bob Backlund, and Jimmy and I wanted to ask a legend like yourself. You were on cards with him, everything else. Was Bob Backlund, did the McMahons fill the card up because Backlund truly wasn't a draw? And can you tell us what Bob Backlund meant to wrestling? Your honest opinion, sir.
I think the first part of your question is did they load the card up because maybe Bob Backlund wasn't drawing? I have to say no to that. I don't believe so. Don't get me wrong. We all look at certain of these entertainers, wrestlers as well, and these are our individual opinions. Maybe in your book, Bob Backlund wasn't a proper champion. And Michael's book, maybe he was the proper champion, and I was maybe split between them. You know what I mean? I didn't see Bob Backlund really as a world champion for the length of time that he was the world champion. Okay. Even though he was a tremendous amateur wrestler, and one of the matches I had with him on TV, we did do some amateur wrestling. Okay. Until I stiffed him in the ribs with a boot. Yeah, but let's put that part to the side. And I have to say, look, I've talked to Bob many a times, and you're right. I wrestled him many times. I wrestled him for the world championship when I was the executioner. Okay, and it was a small little Jersey town, but nevertheless, it was what it was. And I wrestled Bob in the Capitol Center, another big town, and everything. But he was a very, very kind individual. He came back to the dressing room and he says, Ron, he goes, thank you for putting me over. Real gentleman, he goes, take your wife out to dinner. He's handing me a $50 bill. And I can't take that. Come on. I can't take that. He said, Ron, he goes, really, it would mean something to me if you do that for me. Okay, Bob, thank you. Now, I don't know if he did that to all the guys, like, in my position, which is putting the guys over and so forth. Okay. The undercard. I don't know if he did that to other people, or maybe he sold something to me that, maybe I was a good worker. I was not causing trouble. And I was quiet back in the dressing room. You know what I mean? I kind of stuck to myself because I learned from Kowalski. He goes, don't stick your nose in business that don't belong. Okay. Just sit there, relax. If you're spoken to, okay, talk back. But, you can have a conversation with people. Okay. But Bob Backlund was a great guy. And it's sad to hear that's happening.
One last question. And I was bored one day. I was watching that Andre the Giant documentary, and of course, there's Big Ron Shaw in one of the clips. I guess you were in some kind of 2-on-1 match or something. And I was thinking,
to me, something like that.
Yeah, and I was like, holy shit, because you're a big man, right? And I'm like, what was Andre like to work with?
Andre,
how did he treat you?
Wow, Andre liked me. Every time I come back and, hiya, boss, how you doing? And they talk a little bit, and but to work with, the guy was a true professional. It didn't look like he was going to hurt you. You were wondering, but you just had to go with the flow, you know. But he didn't hurt me at all. He could do that big leapfrog jump on you. Never touched you hardly. Never touched you, you know. And another great guy. And I got 2 of those matches I will treasure forever. Me wrestling Andre.
All right, Ron, lay it on. Couple of things I want to cover, Jimmy.
Yeah.
500 level has now improved on the M&P code. Now go to MP30 for 30% off. Jimmy, I got to tell you something, right? I was at the beach again, 500 level. If you guys haven't looked at the shirts, right, go to the website. It's incredible. And I got to be honest, right? So it was a little chilly today. I brought the dogs to the beach. I was off work for the Jewish holidays,
today.
right?
It was
cold,
yeah.
but I have from 500 level, I have a Roman Reigns sweatshirt. Now, usually sweatshirts are not always the nicest fabric, unless I'm into really nice fabric because I just don't like things up against my skin. So usually I'll get thinner type of shirts, but this is a heavy sweatshirt. The fabric, unbelievable. And you're going to get a deal at 30% off, Jimmy. I mean, my God, it's a no-brainer, guys. I am telling you, once you get one shirt from them, you'll get 50. I guarantee it. And they've got all the sports. Yeah, dude, tell me what you think of it, Jimmy.
They're so comfortable. I got to get a long sleeve now. I'm telling you, I got to, because it was chilly today, especially for a guy who's been in Panama City Beach the last 2 years. It was chilly today, and I love the material. It's so silky. Is that the right word for it? I don't know.
No, absolutely. Absolutely, dude.
It's so comfortable. So, yeah, I got to get myself some leveled long sleeves. That's for sure. 30%.
And again, it doesn't, they got plenty of wrestling stuff. They got baseball stuff. They've got football. They got everything, dude. MMA. They got it all, man. And I'm telling you, it's very high quality. Again, 500 level code MP30, 30% off. So if a t-shirt costs you $20, what's 30% off on $20, dude?
It's enough. 10 plus another 20% tacked on top. Not much. It's a steal. It's a steal.
I agree. I want to remind everybody too, the Monte The Pharaoh show, hit the QR code, be willing to check out our shows on YouTube, where we got almost 24,000 subscribers. Go to our Facebook page where we're approaching 27,000 subscribers. And again, if you feel like donating to the show, please go to the Monte The Pharaoh webpage, hit donate. Helps us bring in more guests. Trying to entertain Jim. We've got the big event coming up, so a lot of good stuff happening right now.
Hey man, what you gonna do when it all comes back to you? Think man, what you gonna say when it all falls away? Today, nothing have I found. Take a look around above the ground. There's no love out on the streets today. It's a mystery. Some say there's a better way. People love to talk to ease the pain. No way it's ever gonna solve a thing. Speak out, love to hear your voice. War and hate to seem to be the drugs of choice. Tell me what tomorrow brings. It's a mystery. Open your eyes to truly see that there's no more time left for you and me. Life's such a mystery that we refuse to see. Look at our history. The killer's you and me. war. Come on, the rich, the poor. Forget the love we never ever knew. Godspeed, here's a time or late. Better grab what's yours, don't hesitate. Don't say you didn't really have a clue. It's a mystery.